Disclaimer: I am not a medical or health professional in this field, no scientist or academic. I have no professional credentials in this matter. Please do not use these videos and advice as a substitute for professional help or necessary medication. What's happening? This isn't what I want. Why does it feel like everything is against me? I need to make a change, but how? Where do I even begin? I don't even know how to start. I'm tired of denial. Every consecutive experience further enforces the fact that I have to change. Everything I've done until now has led me here. I don't want to be stuck in my head. I don't want to be looked at like that. I want to feel better. I want to be better. I want to respect myself. I want to put an effort to accomplish things, to be a winner, to have a better life. I don't want to survive life anymore. I want to live it. You feel you've hit rock bottom. There is no way to go but up. You're tired of running through the motions and giving in to your mind. Maybe it was an incident or a train of thought, but something inspired an adamant need to make a change. Excellent. So where do you start? How? It is daunting. It feels like being trapped in hell with no visible way out. But in fact, it's going to be one heck of an adventure. Don't think about the end. Just think about the now. I'll tell you what you need, but you still have to put in the work to understand and apply it. My name is Muckles. I created this channel to share my experience and the knowledge gained from it as I've been there. Yet I climbed out. I'm still not who I want to be, but I am proud of how far I've come. Since I began, I've learned a lot and want to share this so that you have a map to escape your own purgatory. Changing your life from the ground up sounds almost impossible. It isn't. It is not only achievable, but what you learn along the way compounds significantly, and you will find yourself increasingly well equipped the more you learn and grow through life. All I have to offer are my own experiences, conclusions, and thoughts on the matter. I struggled alone and don't want you to go through the same. The advice that comes from this channel should not be taken as gospel. The journey is yours alone, and what I have learned might not apply to your circumstances directly. What I believe you should do is listen to the video, take note of the key points, pay attention to the examples, and apply it directly in your own life. Treat it like a template and tweak it to your circumstances. That will be the best indicator of whether it works for you. And if it doesn't, or doesn't seem as effective as you are expecting, don't dismiss it. As long as you can take one thing away from any segment here, experience, or other source, that counts as a success. My aim is to keep my videos short, precise, and relay the necessary information unless the topic does call for length. I don't want to bog you down with science and facts to try and convince you. You would not be here if you needed a reason to take action. Your experience in these experiments will be the best proof you will find. A trial and error approach is the simplest and most straightforward method of progress. Try and fail, and do it over and over until you succeed. Each failure doesn't mean you have been defeated. Each failure is valuable because it has given you the data you need to overcome the hurdle. This channel does not exist to hold your hand. It is here to give you the tools and the push that you need to believe in yourself and fight. I'm not here to guide you to the light, but to help you get comfortable with and learn how to navigate the dark and difficult. It is long, full of obstacles, tiring, and the list can go on. However, you are doing this to change your life, and taking this first step is immensely courageous. People generally do not respond well to change, let alone be the one who seeks it out. Yet this voyage is rewarding, enlightening, and in my personal opinion, is one of the most adventurous things you can do in this life. You will learn about your own potential, and that you're only as limited as your mind believes you to be. Never ever give up. Even if your fire dulls to a flickering ember, you will be unstoppable. Welcome to the sanctuary. Awareness is the complete container of your peripheral focus. If you enter a room, you are aware that you are in your room now, and your focus is directed inside that container. That is your room. Awareness is what you are conscious of, kind of like a list of ticked and unticked checkboxes in your mind. If I'm getting ready for the day, I'm aware of the fact that I've woken up, showered, put on clothes, and eaten breakfast. I'm aware that now I have to travel to the place that I got ready for. A cop will say, "Were you aware that you were traveling at this speed?" You either are or you aren't. A doctor will ask, "Did you eat lunch today?" And you think back using your awareness to get the answer. You think, "I know I ate lunch. I remember warming my food." So hopefully this conveys the idea. And if you're confused, don't worry. The gist of it is all you need. The key factor you need to learn here is self-awareness. It is everything related to yourself. What I want you to develop is the self-awareness of your mental aspects. Being aware or conscious of the type of person you are, the way you react to situations or incidents, how you cope, the way you talk, the way you socialize, knowing your deepest insecurities or fears, and so on. You're going to break yourself down by analysis. It is the ultimate study of oneself, and the only person who can achieve this is you. If you have seen a movie from a person holding the camera, you never really see their face, only their arms or the feed. But it is like you're seeing everything through their eyes. This is generally known as a first-person view. More commonly, another perspective is through the camera, but it is like the camera is invisible and we are watching all of the interactions around it. This is a third-person view. If you play the occasional video game, the shooter Call of Duty is played from a first-person view. Something like Mario or Grand Theft Auto, that's third person. Self-awareness is living through first-person view daily, but having the objectivity to see yourself in the third-person perspective. You're seeing yourself like an object of interest. Okay, but how do we cultivate self-awareness? Simple. We ask questions and try to figure out the answers. We experiment. Let's give an example. Ash is down in life. He's struggling in school with mid-year exams despite having watched 112 videos about studying and productivity. He told his parents he's applied all of it, and he's truly at his wit's end. He can't seem to figure out why his grades are dropping, despite to his knowledge that he is giving a maximum amount of effort. So if we are Ash, how do we apply the concept of self-awareness here? Well, let's ask some questions and investigate. We can say, okay, math exam. Where am I the weakest in my knowledge? Am I even studying the right sections? How am I studying the math? Am I just reading, or am I actually practicing this? How much of time am I actually spending truly studying? I've applied 999 productivity tips, so why am I not getting the result? Do I even understand the concepts in the section? What are the A+ students doing differently to me? So as you can see, these questions can go on and on. A good approach would be to answer each question one by one, but won't that take up so much of time? It would be helpful to, invert this so we know what we don't want to help the process of elimination. This builds us a stable foundation to work on, to learn what to do and what not to do. If self-awareness is knowing what you're doing, is there anything that might be its counterpart? Something that prevents us from not knowing what we're doing or why? Yes, there is. It's called habit. Habits are actions performed mentally, physically, or emotionally, repeatedly, until they become second nature. At that point, your body says, okay, I get it. I'll store it for you. What this means is that you have repeatedly done this action so often, your body doesn't want to waste energy on mentally directing the same thing every time. So it decides to automate it. It saves the energy to be used for something else. So for example, you might have already left home and on the road you panic and can't remember if you've locked up before leaving, or you can't remember if you've packed your clothes for the gym. This is because of habit, because habit is second nature, and because it's automated, we won't really remember this because we're not mentally directing the energy towards it. So we're not conscious of it. Habitual actions are the backbone of our daily functioning. It's programmed into us. So there are three parts to a habit. There's cue, routine, and reward. The cue is the trigger for the habit to start. Routine is the habitual action itself, and reward is the outcome or the goal of what the action is meant to achieve. So let's say, for as long as you can remember, after you eat dinner, you decide to have ice cream. This is most likely habitual. So your cue is, at the end of dinner, you stand, plate in the sink, and clear the table. Your routine would be, then you go and get the ice cream from the fridge, pop on Netflix, and sit down. And your reward is, well, ice cream. So how do we change this? First, we have to identify the cue, routine, and the reward. And then we change the routine. So say you want to stop eating ice cream and decide you want to walk after dinner. So then what you can do is, after you clear the table, instead of going to the fridge, you just head straight outside and start walking. This is very tricky to navigate though, and it does take trial and error. But if you persist, you'd be surprised at how easy it is to change once you grasp the fundamentals. So you might wonder, where does our body even store habits? It's in the subconscious mind. It's like a hard drive stored with important information that we use to function from. The subconscious deserves its own video, which will come soon. But remember though, that when it comes to habit, repetition is king. Let's go back to our example now. So Ash knows something has to change. So he starts identifying his habits because he can't recall what his exact actions are when he studies. So after some time, he realizes he has a number of unhealthy habits when it comes to studying. So for example, when he starts a practice question, he hits a roadblock and he struggles to think. Then while stuck, he immediately Googles about it instead of persisting, which will develop his critical thinking skills. So the Googling takes him to YouTube, which leads him to a tutorial. After that, he ends up down many rabbit holes ending with productivity tips on how to study better. So Ash is shaken. Not only has it completely shattered his illusion that he was studying effectively, he's horrified at how he ends up in a completely different direction. Ash is now self-aware enough to know that he has bad habits. He realizes that his phone and laptop are hindering him, and he just has to power through it on his own and think for himself to get to the answer rather than have something else answer for him. Coming to the answer himself will help him learn a lot better. Now, since time is of the essence, he can't tackle every bad habit, but he can alter his environment to help him avoid doing it, like removing his phone and laptop, giving it to his parents until the study session is over. Now that he knows his biggest enemy while studying, he can implement short-term measures for time's sake, and then tackle the bad habits afterwards to change it for the better. But it seems like a heck of a headache for all of this self-awareness stuff, right? This isn't what you expected. Unfortunately, this is the reality you're preparing to face. Bad habits stack and take over territory of things you don't focus on, thereby making your self-awareness lose that area, so to speak. It's like being asked to clean out a room, only that the room is stacked to the brim with junk, and things are messy and all over the place. So where would you even begin? Well, you'll tackle it priority by priority, one step at a time. Don't try to introspect over all aspects, else you're going to flounder, waste time, and be overwhelmed. You're in this for the long term. Time to sort out everything is something you have an abundance of, one step at a time. That is it. And once you get started, you'll find it easier to keep going. Each area of focus will strengthen every consecutive area because you will gain experience, and this multiplies, thereby making each instance better to handle. The first step is the hardest, but once you have the momentum going, you'll be on a roll and you won't even want to stop. Nothing will change if nothing changes. let me give you guys some resources. There's a book called The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. So it's a pocket-sized short book that dives deeper into how habits actually run our lives, from personal all the way to business. So this book is a treasure trove of information that will answer many questions and also show you how powerful a simple habit can be, the negative, but especially the positive. Then there's also Atomic Habits by James Clear. This gives you a clear framework to deal with habits and how to use them to your benefit. Get rid of unhealthy ones and implement ones that aid and complement your goals and your life. Stories from James's life reveal his reasoning, and it also gives you extremely practical methods to use this immediately. I'll end off this first video of the channel with this quote. You possess all the tools you need to expand your awareness, to orchestrate the evolution of your consciousness. Yes, you are that powerful. Thank you so much for staying with me all the way to the end of the video. I hope that the information here has helped you, even if in the smallest way possible. I am excited for this to be my first video on the channel, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how this channel grows, and especially the community here, and that all of the information here can, help you make the changes that you want in your life. And yeah, I'm actually just really happy to finally be getting this video out there. It's been on my mind for a very long time, and I would think I was just struggling with procrastination the entire time. But eventually, after reading a David Goggins book, I just sat down and did the work. So has this video helped you? Has it given you an idea of where to start making changes? Or is there anything else that you'd like to add? Please share your story with me down below, or share what you've learned from your own experiences. Navigating through the dark is much less scary when we have others with us. Thank you so much again, and see you next time.